Hi, my name is Rebecca, and this is my channel, My Narcoleptic Life. Quick disclaimer, I am not a doctor, a medical professional. I just have narcolepsy, and I'm sharing my story. So I've been meaning to share this for a while. A lot of people ask me what led me to seek a diagnosis. So I'm on my lunch break. I'm gonna make this super quick. It's not a very exciting story, but here it is. So starting with my childhood, my mom did ask the doctor if I had like normal sleep because she noticed that I was a very heavy sleeper. I would sleepwalk and like talk in my sleep. And basically the doctor reassured her that's super common in childhood and it's not a big deal. She was probably fine. Fast forward to when I was in about middle school, my dad was diagnosed with sleep apnea, and again, my mom said something to my doctor, mostly because my dad and I are very similar and did some similar things, and she was like, maybe my kid has sleep apnea. And again, the doctor was like, that's not common in kids. She's just a kid. It's a growth spurt. It's fine. This cycle repeated a couple of times. During my childhood, I had no real complaints about my sleep. Thought I was a normal kid. In about high school was when I started noticing that I was different, and the sleepwalking had not gone away, which like it had extended at that point. I was in high school, and then also I just was really sleepy all the time. And so in high school, I would like sleep on the bus on the way to school. I would sleep in like 2 or 3 classes in class. I would sleep on the bus ride home. Sometimes I would get to my grandma's and I would go to sleep. And I was like, I just don't think other people take as many naps as I do. And I know it's tempting to like judge and be like, her parents and teachers never noticed this. I don't think any of the adults in my life had any idea exactly how many naps I was taking a day, because I did it around different people. I don't think they put together like I was sleeping a lot. And I didn't really say much, partially because I wanted a driver's license and I didn't want to say like I get really tired all the time. And also, I don't know, like I was in high school, so every once in a while I would say to the doctor like, oh, I get kind of sleepy, and they'd be like, oh, it's puberty, it's growth spurt, you're fine. In high school, I got a job working at a fast food restaurant in Taco Bell, and I graduated high school and went to college. So in college, I am working full-time, 40 hours, and I'm a full-time student, and I'm exhausted. And this was by far the lowest point of my life. I'm gonna make a separate video about my college experience because it deserves its own separate video. But in a nutshell, I slept constantly to the point where for the first time ever, my grades were not very good. Not failing, but I used to be a straight A student. And I was also starting to show some of the other signs of narcolepsy, the hallucinations, the sleep paralysis, of course, the daytime sleepiness. I was getting a little bit of brain fog, and at the time, it was little bits of cataplexy. I didn't know that's what it was at the time. I was miserable, capital M miserable, and quite frankly didn't have time to go to the doctor. I also believed that it was because I was a full-time student and working full-time, and I was like, once I get a real job and I can quit my Taco Bell job, my fast food job, it'll be fine, everything will get better. So I didn't graduate college, I got a real job, I quit my job at Taco Bell. So I'm only working 40 hours a week, I'm an adult. And I was like, yes, it's all gonna get better. It's gonna be great. It did not. Long story short, it did not. So I'm a teacher. That's what I went to school for. And I really struggled. And because I worked the night shift at Taco Bell, I was like, it's just the schedule change. It was not the schedule change. Listen, it was terrible. So I struggled to wake up in the morning. I struggled to drive to work without falling asleep. My work was only 15 minutes from my house. When I was teaching, I would, like during silent reading, I struggled to stay awake while the kids were reading. If I gave the kids a test, I would have to pace the room to keep from sitting down and just falling asleep in my chair. Like at the end of the day, I would take my kids to dismissal, and then I would come back to my classroom and put my head on my desk and go to sleep before I could drive home, because if I didn't do that, I would fall asleep driving home. Staff meetings were the worst, could not stay awake during staff meetings. Like during my lunch and planning periods, I would just go to my office and go to sleep. Like I wouldn't even eat lunch. It was awful. And so at this point, I was like, I'm ready. I'm going to a doctor, something's wrong. So I actually went to my dad's sleep doctor, it's a pulmonologist, and told him what was going on. and he had me fill out like a questionnaire, which is common. You can find it online. I forget what it's called. It's a daytime sleepiness questionnaire. Google that, you'll find it. And also at this time I was falling asleep on dates, like movie dates or like just going out with friends and stuff, falling asleep then too. So I go to the doctor, do the questionnaire. He first rules out things that are way more common than narcolepsy that can also cause this: certain vitamin deficiencies, hormonal deficiencies or changes, just those other like basic things that are more likely. I don't have any of those things. It's not that. I'm also not overweight, and so that's another thing that he like ruled some stuff out. I don't know. So he sends me for a sleep test. The way the sleep test works is you're actually not just testing for narcolepsy. In the course of 24 hours, they study your sleep, and that helps to rule out or rule in other sleep disorders. So the nighttime test checks for things like restless leg syndrome or sleep apnea. The daytime test is the one for narcolepsy. So I do all the testing and everything. And they can't tell you anything in the testing center in the lab. And again, I'll make a whole separate video about what that experience was like. But then I go back to the doctor, and he gets my data from this study, and he was like, oh, 100%, this is what it is. You have narcolepsy, fun fact. And here's how you treat it. And so that was basically how my journey started. He gave me some medicine, and I was like, okay, like, I can drink 6 cans of Red Bull a day and still take a nap. And I wish I could say that was an exaggeration. It's not. I was drinking 4 cans of Red Bull and 3 coffees every single day and still taking naps. And they asked me about my caffeine intake. In hindsight, I wish I hadn't done that, and I actually don't drink energy drinks anymore. So things have changed a lot. But anyway, he gives me some medication, and he's like, sometimes we have to try a few things, but this will help immediately. And if it's not good enough, come back and we'll do some more. And I'll talk more about my medication journey in a different video. But basically, the first day I took that medicine, I was like, holy crap, this is amazing. Is this what normal people feel like? I had no idea. I equated, sorry, my video cut out. But basically, I equated my first day on medication to the first time I got glasses, and I was like, this is how other people can see. Like, that's how I felt on medicine. But yeah, that's basically what led to my diagnosis and later my treatment. And other people, diagnosis is a lot harder. It can take like around 10 years, I think, is like the last average I heard. Because a lot of general practice doctors aren't familiar with narcolepsy and don't really know a lot about it. And sometimes it's just misdiagnosed as other things, like depression is a common misdiagnosis. Sometimes that's an accurate diagnosis. So again, definitely talk to your doctor and listen to what they have to say, and talk to them and just say, like, I'm interested in learning more about this, or can you give me your opinion on this? And see what they can do for you. So that's my story. I hope that was helpful for somebody, and if not, then I'm sorry. Thank you for being here anyway.